And welcome back to Miniature Dragon Comic Review, coming to you live from Seattle, Washington. As always, I'm your host for the evening, Daniel Doc Gentry. And coming to us live from different locations around the Seattle area is our gurus from Miniature Comics, Woody and Alex, and a mysterious female voice that pops up every now and then. Hello, mysterious female voice.
Hey.
and we'll send anybody that can guess who she is gets this autographed copy of the Umbrella Academy, signed by the artist.
I want to guess.
But as you have guessed, we are going to be talking Umbrella Academy today, not Umbrella Company. But anything new? I want to let everybody know who's trying to check out the website on the phone. I'm trying everything I can, and it does not make sense why, when you expand it, it gets blurry. I'm trying my darndest to try to figure that out, but for now, I do apologize. This is all on me, and I just can't figure out what the problem is. I am trying.
I think we're just gonna have to go back to having big pages and just lots of big pages.
I think I have an idea.
Maybe we could have it. You put the cursor over it and it pops up with a big page. That would be really cool.
Yeah. How do you do that, Woody?
I don't know.
Okay,
But
so
I'm not a developer. I've seen people do it.
I think I'm gonna do what we did on the homepage.
Okay, good. I like that.
Good.
I approve. So, Umbrella Academy. So I remember when this book first came out and they were advertising it for Dark Horse, and I thought that looks bizarre. But then it kind of got some traction, so I got really curious. And when I popped up on the app, I'm like, I just got down the whole thing, and it was seriously the best comic book I've ever read. Like, top 10. And it's the premise of it. You can basically say, like, the whole setup of the X-Men, where you got some weird, like, Heaven's Gate mother humper guy who takes all these children and trains them to be terrorists, and like, how would that actually be? And this comic book is basically how messed up the X-Men really should be. And like, it's just an extraordinary story. I love deconstructionist superhero stories. Doc, were you able to finish reading the graphic novel?
I read all individual books.
Okay, good. That's right, because when I have it on the app, it's all it's all individuals, right?
More importantly, I think I agree with you. Kind of, this would be the X-Men were like if Professor Xavier told everybody to call him Dad, and then ignored them with any kind of love or encouragement.
Oh my God, that guy was such a bastard. The Professor Hargreaves, the guy, the Professor X character,
the monocle.
Jesus, yeah, what a bastard! Oh my God. And it's interesting because if you read between the lines, he actually wasn't a total asshole, but yet he had this twisted idea that if he showed the kids any love or affection, that like they would be it would be bad for them, like they need to be tough, right? And the one kid who is actually the most powerful and the most dangerous and the most likely to be a problem, he tried to basically be the biggest bastard to her, to get her to be so suppressed that she would never be a threat, only to create the threat. Like, that's amazing.
I think he was just trying to hold back from letting her know what her powers were.
Oh, absolutely. No, for sure. Because they were dangerous, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tomato world destroying. I mean.
Yeah. Alex, what did you think of the story?
Story looks quite interesting. When I get a chance, I'll finally read through the entire thing.
How far did you get?
Who hired this guy?
Just came around.
Yeah, can't get rid of him. But no, how far did you get in the story?
Not exactly sure where, but like one of the parts that really stood out was like the Eiffel Tower rocket.
Yes. Oh my. Okay, so like.
But further than that, but I mean that was like something that just still sticks out because it just makes me think of like need a story where it's like the Space Needle needs to do that.
Right. Well, so in the first issue, which isn't really spoiling anything, because the story kind of jumps around a little bit in the timeline, but they have this bit where the Eiffel Tower has come to life somehow and is murdering all the people that are on it. So the kids, they're like 8 years old, as superheroes, show up to try to fight the thing, and it turns out that what they suspected was right all along, and that it's actually zombie cyborg Gustav Eiffel who is behind it, and it's not actually a tower but a rocket ship. And then in the future, when the super strong character of Space Boy has had an accident where his head had to be bonded to the body of a Martian gorilla, and he flies around the jetpack and the ray gun. Yes, that's exactly what this happens in the story. He's living on the moon in hope to protect the Earth against whatever threat that they're supposed to protect it against, which never arrives. The fucking Eiffel Tower is crashed on the moon just outside of his moon base. It's amazing.
It's a comic book.
Oh, this is as comic book as it gets. Oh my god.
The story is super interesting going through it. It takes so many twists and turns. And I gotta admit, because you had it on there, I started with the Free Comic Day book one.
That one is amazing, by the way. I love that story too.
And that was a really good story. And then I got into it, and I was like, "What the hell? This isn't what I was reading."
I hope they do go back in time and do more flashback stories, because it's like by the time, because the Free Comic Book Days episode deals with them at kind of towards the end of their superhero career, and when they were still a team, and then when you meet them in the actual book, the team's all broken up. And one of the characters has died, and even though he's like not in the story, his presence is felt because it affected everybody so deeply, and everybody's kind of like they've all split up, and they're kind of brought back together because the monocle guy died, and like everybody's coming back for the funeral, and it gets out of control, at that point. It's complete and like it turns into a nightmare.
I'm laughing because I'm watching the picture cycle that I've got lined up for this, and it's when they're doing the science fair for all the kids, and Five is standing there, and he's like, "Well, I was going to do all this fancy dancy stuff, but instead I built an accurate model of our solar system."
Right.
And he's like, "The Earth's not there." He goes, "Really? It's very small. Are you sure you didn't see it?"
Yeah.
Are you reading the comic?
Oh. Keep going. I just discovered I have to plug my phone in.
And I thought it was funny because it was foreshadowing, but you don't realize it at that second.
Right. So you read all 12 issues then?
Yeah.
Okay, because we were only reviewing the first graphic novel.
I don't know which one was the first graphic novel because that is not what the login gave me. I read everything that was in the login.
Fair enough. How did you like it?
There wasn't a graphic novel. So up to what book is that?
Number 6.
All right. Well, you're gonna get them all because I got them
all. Fair enough. How did you like the second one, Doc?
The second one. Hold on a second.
With the Kennedy assassination.
Listen, when you read them all. Oh, you mean the second graphic novel?
Yeah.
Because that is definitely not issue 2. I thought it was funny.
Right on.
It made me giggle when you figured it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Man. So as I said, we've got a character who his head is mounted to the body of a Martian gorilla. You've got a character who has the ability to say, like, I've heard a rumor, and anything she says actually happens, even going so far as to make a clone of herself, so that she can have the clone go to the library to study like she's supposed to, so she can go party. One of them just simply has Aquaman powers, like he can breathe underwater, and that's all he does. And then another one is a little child that can teleport into the future but can't teleport back, apparently, and now is like an immortal killing machine.
But he's not a little child.
No, but he looks like one. And then you've got the one who supposedly had no powers but was at the greatest potential gets turned into a cyborg violin with the power to create sonic music attacks.
The white violin is her name.
Yeah, the white violin. Yeah, you've got a psychic character who apparently got his powers massively augmented by doing drugs, and he's like massive telekinetic abilities. And who am I missing?
Well, there was horror, seance.
Yeah,
Space Boy.
The horror's amazing.
Rumor.
he Cthulhu tentacles come out of his chest.
Yeah. No, it's not his chest. It's from the waist down.
Right. No, I'm sure they came from his gut region.
Well, that or puberty was really sour to him.
Or really good to him. I don't know how you're counting this.
This is not a remake of Legend of the Overfiend. I'm just saying.
Hey, he could be a satyr and have other type of things.
Maybe Superman's pinchers.
I know. I like this because it wasn't the clever, this is the same thing you've always read thing. These were new characters, like legitimately new. There wasn't any trope about them.
Yeah, well, the only trope being that they are like it's clearly inspired by the X-Men, but at the same time, they didn't do here's your optic blast guy called Gazer Beam, and here's the person that controlled the weather, and here's the this and that. It just has it's kind of like what they did in Deathmatch, where everything is just familiar enough that you're like, okay, I'm on board, but then they go in their own direction.
Okay, a 5-year-old time traveling killing machine. I'm sorry, I haven't seen that before. That's a new one to me. A dude that's got his head attached to a giant ape. Again,
Martian gorilla.
Was that a dude or was that the gorilla? I'm talking about having his head transferred onto a gorilla body.
That's true, and they didn't say what gender the gorilla body was.
Right.
Because you don't really see any junk.
And it is very trivial.
My guest is sitting here with this look of mind blown every time I say one of these things.
Violin Lady's got boobs, and the only thing I kept thinking of is that would be really hard to play.
Yeah. And then there's the part where like the giant MTV Movie Awards are running around destroying the amusement park.
Oh yeah, that was actually funny to me. That was issue 1 or 2.
It looks like issue 3 perhaps, I think. But it was great. Oh, and I found it interesting that like if the Kraken character, the one with the underwater powers and could throw knives well, like if he just had a little bit less of a chip on his shoulder, everything would have been fine. And he never really does learn his lesson.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
It was interesting. I'll hit my 3 while we're doing this, which is art, lettering, and story. First off, story. Hang on. Just when you're reading, hang on. I'm not saying it's bad. It's unique. It's all over the place. There's a lot of stuff going on. And there's some just random weird crap introduced into it. Like just a couple of frames where you're like, what the... Like he's when Space Boy is having the daydream and he comes home and the wife greets him and, oh, hi, lovely, I'm glad you're home. And then they point towards the microwave and some brains are gooing out of it. And
there's all weird little things. I love the newspaper, just all the weird little headlines that would pop up on the newspaper.
The guys, my favorite thing in the whole thing are the 2 guys wearing the mascot heads the whole time.
That must be in the second graphic novel. I actually only reread the first one because that's what I thought we were reviewing. So I don't recall that. Oh wait, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. That's wonderful.
They have absolutely the best lines I have read in a long time.
Yeah.
The art in this is it's all... I'm not saying it's all over the place. It's super detailed to little detail. There's a couple of scenes where there's only 2 people in it, but it looks like something that was drawn because something in the background, kind of just hint towards the background stuff with little detail. The art
feels like heavily inspired by Mike Mignola Hellboy work.
Well, this is unique, and it is to the point where I would say if you pick up graphic or comic books or graphic novels or even trade paperbacks for the art, the art in this is actually really cool all the way through. It's just got some weird stuff. Again, I laughed because it popped up with Seance pointing at something with a big hole in his head.
We've got this part here where the kid and the monkey are flying through the city, and it's just nothing but the most degraded BS. Like XXX theaters, there's prostitutes with the positioning in the foreground is done badly on purpose to cover her nipple, and like perspective is wrong on like all these weird little things where it's like and have this conversation. It's like, isn't this worth saving? And nothing in this scene is worth saving at all.
I like the monkey prostitutes and strippers throughout. That was pretty. Or I'm sorry, chimpanzee, as it was pointed out.
Yeah, yeah. See right there.
But yeah, the art is cool in this. I like that the guys in yellow with the red gas masks. Did you notice that all their stuff says temp on it?
I know.
It was just funny, unique, interesting storyline. And as for the lettering, I was not lost going through this at all from the lettering. I got lost a couple of times because of the way the story just kind of progressed and what they were drawing at the time. But nothing that made me go off the story. Once I figured out what they were doing, it actually made me laugh. So,
well, what I want to say about the lettering, by the way, like it's not what you would say like professional quality lettering, but it's it fits the feeling of the world and the story, and it actually if you're a real aficionado of this thing, like what's interesting about it is that it's basically a throwback to what they did in the original Ninja Turtles comics, and it's like a really kind of a neat retro, and it shows you kind of like where these guys were at in terms of like their inspiration. What did you think of the Televator, Doc?
Yeah, it took me a while to figure out what Televator meant.
Yeah, me too. Alex, you're being quiet. Do you want to jump in on any of this? I don't want to exclude you from the show.
Yeah, so I definitely have to say it's like I'll definitely read it, but I am definitely excited to see like next year they do have plans from what I saw to make it into a TV series.
Yeah,
I think 10 episodes.
That's been going on for a while. So
But the plan is actually to like air it in next year.
Who's going to play the female stripper monkey? That's all I need to know. Outside of that, nothing else matters.
Do we know where it's going to be? Is this going to be on Netflix or something else?
I'm not sure who's going to be airing it currently.
Because if it's on Hulu, I'm going to have to finally get Hulu.
Oh. Yeah, I'm not sure who's going to be doing it, and yeah, I just remember like looking through and like seeing stuff for Umbra Academy, and it was like that came up, and I thought like that was interesting.
We just got to that page. Here's your temp, guys.
Oh yeah. Oh. Well, no, they've been coming through my thing because I do those pictures.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's funny because you don't see it when they're up close, but there's one shot where they're in the room fighting and it says temps.
Yeah. This comic's so amazing. Oh, by the way, last year, I think it was last year at Emerald City Comic Con, when I think it was last year when I got this book and I had run into the artist and I got him to sign it. I immediately went to the Dark Horse booth and just bought the book. He told me that they are planning the third one finally. It's like, yes. Why is it taking so long?
I don't know. Probably because they kind of just ran out of effed up ideas, I guess.
No, I think it's probably because the writer got hired by DC Comics.
Oh wow.
So there might be an exclusivity contract there, but or at least he can take it over to their imprint. I don't know. They just need to do the third one. Like, god damn it. Like the way they ended it, the story wasn't done. It was clearly not done.
Nope.
No,
it was not done, but it was, like I said, funny. I mean, I would give it that this comic book had me laughing the whole time.
I'm glad.
Just out of the dumbest things, but that's me. Like, it's irony that makes me laugh. Like, yes, I did notice when he's flying over the city, like, well, don't you want to save all this? It was like, no, I'd let that part go. I mean, you're not, what are you doing there, man?
Well, sometimes you're like, why the hell did you make me read this?
Because there are some dumb, like, this was dumb, but this was, like, very ironic. It actually had a moving story in it. Some of the dumb ones that you make me read don't have a moving story. This one actually has progression, but I love that it has this progression where like, screw off, I never want to see you again, and then like they have to work together to fight, and it's this ironic thing where they're fighting the enemy and they're saving each other, but they're like pretty much saying how much they hate each other.
Yeah. Yeah. So one thing that was interesting, the writer who created this thing, let me see if I can. Gerard Way, I believe he's the lead singer of My Chemical Romance.
I am too old to know that. My daughter would, but I don't want to call her right now.
I also am too old, but I mean, oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, it's right here. It says he's from My Chemical Romance. It's like the guy's a professional musician that's now making comic books, and it actually makes sense because like throughout this, it's actually kind of funny because you get these singers and musicians and they're all doing like heavy metal stuff. And you go talk to them, and it turns out that they've been like, when they're not performing, they listen to Bach or Beethoven or like world music or some, their musical education is really deep and really sophisticated. And yet here they are going, rah, 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 and like all throughout this thing, there's references to orchestral music that you actually have to they're talking about things so deeply, you have to go look up what the hell they're talking about. And it's
like I like some of the panel arrangements where you had like the musical notes and just the stylize.
Wait, did you read any of that? So like the first one where the white violin's playing and it goes, the first flowing notes it spells out violin.
Oh.
and it's like it's just really like because you watch Cowboy Bebop, right? Cowboy Bebop is like its music is at the core of the theme of it, but not as much as this. This is like way more subtle, way more sophisticated, and you realize that the person who came up with this is just super educated, and like I'm impressed because like I'm a good writer. I come up with some really fun ideas and some weird stuff. But like, I would never come up with this. I would never come up with something where the musical theme of it is so intrinsic to the story, where if you removed it, you wouldn't have the story. It's like there's like it's kind of like I have this thing where nudity does not belong in your literary piece if removing it doesn't hurt the story. Like if it's there, it shouldn't matter. And like there's little bits of nudity in this. And it matters. It affects the story. It actually enhances it in a meaningful way.
So during when we did RenCon, myself, Doc, and Keenan talked about a very similar kind of subject about how that kind of feel of like I think we all agreed on where in a sex scene it's kind of that same thing of like, does it help the story? Does it help basically tell part of it, or is it just Jean Grey and Scott Summers boning each other?
Well, is it organic? It doesn't even have to be part of the storyline. Just does it happen in the national progression of things?
Yeah, because so the white violin character is basically looks like a human violin, but she's essentially naked with no lady bits. And
wait, I'm not going to let you get away with this. We are not going to go over that. You just said lady bits.
Hey, shall I say nipples and vaginas?
You could say that. I like how you had to stop before actually using the actual medically deemed appropriate terms, but
okay. How's about the technical British terminology? In and out bits.
In and out bits.
So, anyways,
in America, where we actually have In-N-Out Burger, you're going to use In-N-Out bits.
That's what they say on Red Dwarf, so I can get away with it because I'm on Red Dwarf. So, anyways, so like she's basically fully naked, but she has this. They never really explain it, but she's either completely white, or like covered in like a silver surfer layer or something. And it's the implication is that she was cybernetically enhanced to bring out her full potential of her powers, and
or her inning and outs.
Yeah, right. And so they put something in to get something out of her. But anyways, my guest is having a tough time keeping her composure with all this conversation. But like before that happens, of course, there's a scene where she's basically naked and strapped to a table while they're doing the surgery, and you see her from a distance. She's clearly naked, but it's like sort of, there's no details. But then they also have this scene where it's like up close, like a worm's eye view, and you can see the outline of everything, and they don't color anything differently. It's just probably for taste. It's probably like the editing requirement at Dark Horse, but it's like, there's that little bit of nudity in the book, but it fit the story. It was made sense because of what was going on. And then of course, because of the way she appears later, it has a continuity connection. And again, it's like, it's not gratuitous. It's I don't know if we call it tasteful, or artistic, but it basically fits the story, and it is kind of necessary, and you don't feel like it's out of place at all.
No, and I mean, for the most part, this thing is really well done. It's put together really well. There are very few things that happen in the entirety of what I read where it made the story pause. Like, I hate that when it does it, just puts in a joke to put in a joke, and it makes the whole thing just stop the full flow of it. But I did like, I just, even the free comic, the free comic day comic, which is different. It wasn't even part of the story. It's like this random story told.
Yeah. Hey, I want to jump in real quick. So we were looking at the scene here where they've got the whole surgical table and the shit to turn her into the white violin, and the whole thing has one of those megaphone things like on the old records, and it has the glowing light bulbs in the Super Science, from the 50s, and the whole thing looks like it's just a cobbled together mess of different time periods of Super Science, and it's freaking amazing. And the background is completely black. It's like the wonderful use of backgrounds. It's just artistically brilliant.
Well, we have 2 minutes left, so why don't we go into final thoughts? Alex?
Very beautifully done. I'm definitely, after listening to you guys go on, I'm definitely going to read it.
Okay, good.
And number 3, I'm definitely looking for, if it's Netflix or if it's on regular telly or whatever, going to definitely watch it. And I think this is definitely going to be something that will be interesting to get up to volume 2 and probably be like you guys of, well, number 3 needs to be out.
Yeah, right. No kidding.
Woody, what do you think?
Oh my God, this is like the best book ever. I mean, when I look at my top superhero books, obviously Watchmen's going to be there, though I think it's probably a little overhyped. I look at stuff like Deathmatch, like just the stories which take the superhero genre and turn on its ear, right? And the more real the characters can be, the more I love it. And this is about as real as they get. This is actually, I think, probably more real in some regards than Watchmen would be. But you've got your characters kind of just it basically tilts into the comic book, whereas Watchmen tilted into real life. This goes, no, we're a comic book, we're doubling down. And the results with a lesser set of creators could have just been complete insanity. And this just, everything came together perfect.
Mystery guest?
Mystery guest.
Yeah, I was about to ask, mystery guest.
They can't see you. Just
No, I haven't finished yet.
The mystery guest has not finished the book yet and is reserving her opinion.
Well, if you want to read a really good book that has great art, funny stuff, and it's just sometimes just kind of ridiculous to keep up, that doesn't show any tallywhackers or hoo-haws, you can go ahead and just pick up these books of the Umbrella Academy. It's really well done. Thank you for joining us today. We had a lot of fun doing this one. The Umbrella Academy, I think that all of us are saying, go ahead, pick it up, give it a chance. We think that you're going to enjoy it, especially if you like female chimpanzee stripper hooker ladies.
And Indian
Chimpanzees of the night.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. But you don't see their hoo-haws, so it's okay. They're vajayjays. They're... Anyways. again, yeah, it was a lot of fun reading this book. I think you all should pick it up. You guys have any final thoughts or anything going out?
Well, just we're still tackling the the ongoing drama of fixing our website. I plan to have the other books up this week, at least Countermay and the Thunderfrog, and then I have to check to see where we're at with the Gamers, because that's 15 issues of a series that you can't just throw that up. So,
and on the 13th and the 14th of October,
oh yeah,
go out to Yakima, Central City, say hi to us, and give us some TLC, and definitely and
we
earful
were
of like
we were lucky enough to get in the show because somebody canceled.
Because that's how you want to be. You always want to be the third or fourth guy on the list, not the first choice.
Yeah.
As always, keep it nerdy and live your dreams.